Evening class. Today we're going to do chapter 1, lesson 3. Our objective today is being able to find the greatest common factor, or GCF, and the LCM, or least common multiple, of two or more whole numbers. Vocabulary. Common factor. Common factor is a number that is a factor of two or more numbers. I'm going to get rid of these as we go. No, I'll leave it there. A common multiple, a number that is a multiple of two or more whole numbers. Multiple, the product of a whole number and any other whole number. Least common multiple, the common multiple of two or more numbers that has the least value. And greatest common factor, the common factor of two or more numbers that has the greatest value. All terms that you'll need to understand and know what they mean in order to complete these problems. First thing we're going to have to be able to do is we're going to have to be able to find common factors. And one of the methods that you can use to find common factors is to list the factors of each number. So my first example is 10 and 15. So if I list the factors of 10, which are 1, 2, 5, and 10, and the factors of 15, 1, 3, 5, and 15, I can then compare the factors that they have in common, which are 1 and 5, which I guess I highlighted here. I jumped a step. So listing the common factors from least to greatest, the least, or the factors of 10 and 15, excuse me, are 1 and 5. Another example, 24 and 30. So first I list the factors of 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. Factors of 30 are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, and 30. I know some of you are probably wondering, how do I get those? We'll talk about that in class. I'm going to also show you where you can find a list to help you with this. And this is something that we're going to be practicing every day for warm-up in math class, because it's such an important piece of your math in 6th grade. Step 2, circle, highlight all the numbers found in both lists. So we have 1. We have 2 in both lists, 3 in both lists, 6 in both lists, and that would be it. So we list our common factors from least to greatest, 1, 2, 3, and 6. I prefer the latter method when we're finding the greatest common factor as a set of numbers. So our first example is 36 and 40. Step 1, write down the numbers and draw a line underneath the numbers and to the left of the numbers. So I wrote down 36 and 40. I drew my 2 lines. Find a number that divides evenly to both numbers and write that number to the left. Since they're both even numbers, I picked 2. So I put that to the left. And now we're going to divide both those numbers by 2. 36 divided by 2 is 18. 40 divided by 2 is 20. And then we're going to repeat steps 2 and 3 until you cannot divide anymore. So 18 and 20 are both even, so they can be divided by 2 again. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 9 and 10 cannot be reduced any further. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply all the numbers on the left-hand side, and this will give us our GCF. So if when we multiply 2 times 2, we get 4. GCF is 4. The reason I like the ladder method is you don't have to know all the factors, and it also, when you use the ladder method, you can also find the LCM, which I believe we're going to be showing you in a couple problems. Example 2, using the ladder method to find the GCF of 15 and 20. Now, when I was a kid, we just practice, and I could look at those 2 numbers and tell you that it's 5. But if we're not there yet, we're going to use the ladder method. So 15 and 20, a number that goes into both those 2 numbers is 5. The number does have to go into both evenly. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 3 and 4 cannot be reduced anymore. If there's only one number to the left of your line, then that is the GCF. 5 is the only number, so the GCF is 5. Find the first common multiples of each pair of numbers. Write down the numbers. Step 1, write down the numbers in the problem, 8 and 9. Step 2, list the multiples of each number until you find a common multiple if you need to. So 8 times 1, 8, 8 times 2, 16, 8 times 3, 24, 8 times 4, 32, 8 times 5 is 40. 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 3 is 27, 9 times 4 is 36, 45. And you can see I went on and on and on. And what you're going to do is your circle height, this is just if this is just for finding the first 5 common multiple, or the first 5 multiples of each. If we want to find a common multiple, then we just take those two numbers and we look for a number that they have in common in both lists. And it looks like the first number that they have in common is 72. And then we're going to take 72 and we're multiply it by 1, 72 times 2, 72 times 3, 72 times 4, 72 times 5. So our first 5 common multiples are 72, 144, 216, 288, and 360. So there's a little bit of work there involved in completing that problem. Don't worry, we'll practice that in class. Use the ladder method to find the least common multiple of each pair of numbers. So once again, we're going to write 6 and 8 with our lines. Find a number that goes into both of them, which is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. That cannot be reduced anymore. If you can't divide anymore, then you take the numbers on the outside. And the thing that I tell kids to try to remember is the numbers on the outside create an L for LCM, and you multiply them together. 2 times 3 times 4, which is 24. And that would be your answer. 24. Tomorrow in class, we're going to do page 27 to 28, 1 to 36, and 42 to 43. Don't worry. This is probably going to take us a couple class periods to work on, so don't get freaked out by the total number of problems. Get a good night's sleep. Bring your paper and your pencils and your calculators and all your materials to class tomorrow, and we will knock this assignment out of the park. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.